Yeah. So we are back with a mom and a baby update. A lot of people are asking how is she, how she settled in, but also checking in on the wife to see how she's coping. So we're here to give you a little update on how things have been since we've been back home. This is the second day back.
No, this is our
Third day.
third actual day back. Obviously, we didn't get home with baby until late afternoon on Sunday, so we didn't have like a day or anything. It was just like more of the evening. So this is our third full day at home. I don't even know how to start, to be honest.
So first day back, or first night back, was a bit surreal. Didn't really feel like it was happening. It was.
No.
I think because we've been at the hospital for so long, and everything was just constant on the go. I think it took a little while just for it all to just feel real and settle in.
I didn't get much sleep the first night home. I don't know if it was just more anxiety or what. I'm not really sure. Obviously, when baby girl was in NICU, she's hooked up to a monitor 24/7, so everything's being monitored. So if something was to go wrong or something was wrong, obviously the monitor would alarm and someone would come and obviously check and see whatever. And obviously that first night home for me I was consumed with anxiety. I was worrying. I was like, what if something's wrong and I don't recognise it? What if something drops, like maybe her oxygen or her heart rate goes up or whatever? Because a couple of times when she was in the NICU, her heart rate kept spiking above like 205 and whatever, and I used to panic. I used to be like, what if there's something wrong with her heart and no one's picked up on it yet? Because obviously when I was pregnant for the last, I'd say 6 weeks before she was born, we was admitted to triage quite a few times when it come to seeing the midwife because of her heart rate being too high. So obviously seeing that going on after she's born with the monitor set me off in a panic, because in my own mind it's like, what if there is something wrong with her heart? Because at one point the consultant wanted to do an echo because they couldn't understand what was going on with her. But they didn't end up giving her the echo because they weaned her off the oxygen and she came off the oxygen. So the first night home didn't really feel real.
But
she settled in lovely though.
She settled in straight away.
Yeah,
she slept, other than obviously having to wake for the bottles. She'd have her bottle and she'd have all of her bottle and go straight to sleep, no problem.
I did find feeding the first night home I struggled with the feeding the first night home because it took me longer to feed than it was when we was in NICU, and I don't know if that was just change of environment or what, but she wasn't really taking it as well, and I started to panic and I was like, does this mean we're going to have to take her back in? But eventually she started taking the bottles fine and she did finish them. It's like past the parcel with this
you will have to bear with us because we're having to keep pausing it because he's a fidget arse and doesn't sit still. So 1 minute he'll want to sit on my lap, 1 minute he'll want to sit on his mum. So, but yeah, she did sleep perfect and she has done even till now. Bottle wise, she's been fine as well, hasn't she?
Yeah. Obviously the NICU nurses asked us to start trying. No, don't do that. Asked us to start trying to see if we can get her to go 4 hours. I didn't really know how I felt about that at first. I was like, you've told me she needs feeding every 3 hours, so it was a bit like, do I let her? But she kind of started doing it herself. Obviously, if she wakes for the 3 hourly feed, then I'll feed her the 3 hourly. But if she wants to sleep the little bit longer, she doesn't normally go for... Bear with me.
So, back again.
That's nice.
But yeah, where was we?
I don't know. I think we're talking about feeding.
Yeah, so feeding wise, everything is bang on. And we had the midwife come round and do their checks. And
that was
yesterday. And they weighed her and she is currently 5'13", so she's over her birth weight. She was born 5'12". No,
she was born 5'7".
5'7".
When they weighed her on Sunday before we was discharged,
she was 5'11".
And on Tuesday she was 5:30.
5:13. So she's over, but they've discharged us now. We're just waiting on the health visitor. Yeah. So she's doing fine. She's absolutely
Obviously,
smashing it.
We have to still measure out her milk because she's on a set amount and they want us to keep it on the set amount until the health visitor.
Yeah, so at the minute she's on 77.
They said because she's a prem baby, they don't want us overfeeding her. So they gave us some of those measuring bottles and said just take these back with you and you can just sterilise them. But after a week, throw them away. So we have to measure out the milk to make sure she's having
And the milk
exact...
we're on, because I know someone's going to comment, because everybody likes to know what you feed your baby. Ours is cow and goat we're on. That's what we're
Obviously,
using.
we've got 3 tubs of the powder, but I'm finding it more convenient with the pre-made ones
Yes.
at the moment.
So when she was in the hospital, obviously we didn't know how long she was going to be in there. So we ended up stocking up on the ones that you have to take into the hospital, the ones that come with the teats. So we're using them first. We're just going to run them out.
But to be honest,
And
I'm preferring using those in the night anyway because it's making things easier for me because she's not having to wait as long for milk because I haven't got to wait for it to cool down and stuff
to
like
be
that.
fair, we've got 3 big tubs of the powder. We've got loads of the ones for the hospital.
I say we've got loads, but we've got 1 pack left.
And then, well, we've had loads. And then we've also got the in-between ones where it's the bottles without the teats. We've got them as well. So we'll go on to them next and then we'll go on to the powder.
So that's where we're at with feeding. 9 times out of 10, I have to wake her for a feed.
She's
but
quite lazy.
They did say that they wouldn't expect anything different anyway because of her being
Prem.
early. Well, she was nearly 4 weeks early, literally like nearly a whole month early. Little Miss didn't want to stay in there anymore. So they said they would expect us to have to still wake her and her not be at a point where she's waking herself. Although there has been a couple of times she's woke herself well before she's been due and she's been screaming and acting like she's been starved, but she's not even due. So she's slowly starting to recognise when she's hungry and when she wants feeding, which is a good thing. She's starting to recognise that. That's where we're at with the sleeping and the feeding.
If there is anything, just quickly, that anybody wants us to talk about, drop it in the comments, because obviously I do go through the comments. So if there's any topics or any questions on one of the next videos, obviously we can address them and go through that. So just drop it down.
What else is to touch upon with that?
I think that's everything with her.
Harlow absolutely adores her, loves her, and he keeps lifting up my jumper and checking to see if and he rubs my belly to see if there's a baby, and I was like, there's not another one in there.
I said there better not be another one in there already. There's a piss out.
Shut up.
But yeah, so that's where we're at with baby. Up to yet, Harlow's met her. Obviously K-Dot's met her. Yeah, back again. So yeah, that's where we're at. K-Dot's met her. Harlow's met her. What day is it today? Thursday? No, Thursday.
No, it's not. I don't think.
Weird.
It's Wednesday.
Wednesday. Harley Rose will be meeting her Saturday, and she'll be with us all of Saturday and Sunday. So there'll be videos coming on here so we can capture that moment. So we've got all the kids meeting her. We haven't yet let anybody else meet her up to yet because she's a prem, and you're quite like, what do you call it, anxiety wise with like her health and not wanting her to catch anything off anyone or anything like that. Nobody else has met her yet. So yeah, nobody else has met her yet, but that's all to come.
It's not just that I'm not ready for visitors yet myself.
Like, we're still settling in, even though it's been a couple of days. We're trying to get a bit of a routine.
You have to remember,
enjoy us and the kids and the baby.
Obviously, she's now 11 days old, and we've only had 3 actual days at home with her. I'm just not ready myself for visitors yet. Like, I want my little bit of time to have my baby bubble and our family bubble.
And with Harlow, we was out pretty much straight away, and we was kind of like everybody wanted to see him, family, friends, and we was doing it, and we kind of felt like we missed our time on first bringing him back. So this time we agreed that we was going to do it different, and we was going to make sure we have our time as a family.
But obviously we didn't expect the whole... Well, I say we didn't expect, but I kind of knew in my gut she was coming by 36 weeks. I don't know what it was, but I just knew. But we didn't expect the NICU journey. Although I knew it was a possibility with her being so early, we didn't expect the NICU journey to be 8 days long.
No.
Because originally when she was born, obviously we were told, oh, we just need to keep her here for like minimum of 48 hours. 48 hours then turned into 8 days. So we didn't even expect it to be the journey that we had. So obviously when you have a baby, you kind of give birth, you go home and you have your newborn bubble and you have your little family time.
And
Obviously,
you, and
8
you get
days
time
is
to rest a little bit as well.
8 days is a long time. Not as long as some people's NICU journeys, but everybody who's had a baby in NICU has had their own journey, and it doesn't matter whether it was a 1 day stay, a week stay, a month stay, everybody's NICU journey matters.
And I think this is probably the best part of the video to bridge over to going from baby to mom, because obviously mom-wise, normally, like you say, you have your baby, you come home, you recover, you get better, like you've just gone through a big thing, and your journey starts from there. Whereas with your journey, it's different because she had the baby and then we practically lived up the hospital, but it weren't a case of just living there. It was a case of, obviously we've got other kids, so we was having to come home, sort the eldest out. Obviously in the mornings we was having to sort Harlow out, sort him out like a bag and a pack for the day, then take him to your sisters, who was amazing, drop him there, and obviously checking in on all the kids throughout, and then having to come back, pick him up, then do the same again later on. Like, it was just full on, but it was a lot of movement, like it was non-stop, so she didn't get any time to kind of recover. So
No.
I feel like it dragged that process out a little bit, and you haven't really had your time to kind of recover while that was going on.
No, I feel like this...
So yeah, so I don't think she really had time to kind of recover. It was just kind of on the go 24/7. And then I feel like it's a bit like now's your time where you can recover, but over that long period you have got a bit better. So now you're back home, you're now feeling able enough to do bits, so you're doing bits in the house, and I feel like it's kind of been missed a little bit. Do you know what I mean? It's not like you've come straight back from giving birth and then you've had your time flat out to recover and then carry on. It's been on the go, and then now you have got that period being home. You're a little bit better to the point where you want to start doing bits. It's kind of like
I feel like
it.
recovery this time compared to Harlow has taken me longer, and I don't know,
It's weird because you had a better birth and you didn't have all the problems with labour, as in the sepsis and everything like that. So when you look at that was a lot better. But then you actually healed when you was home, whereas this one, it's been a bit weird.
I don't know, it just took longer. It took me longer to recover. I'm practically back on my feet. I am still struggling around the stomach area as in strength.
Yeah,
which
can't
I
really
find
lift or
odd
anything.
because I didn't have that with Harlow, but then I have to remember I didn't have a toddler when I had Harlow.
And
so I never used to have to lift a toddler, so I'm finding it hard, and to me it feels a bit shit in a sense because it's like I can't really do everything I was doing for him before, and it makes me feel like a bit of a shit mum.
The problem that we've got, or should I say maybe you've got, is she can't really sit still. So like even if she wants to, she can't, because she gets it in her head that, oh, I'm a shit mum because I can't do the things that I was doing before. And then you try and explain to her, like, obviously I don't know what planet you're living on that you think that you need to be doing that stuff, and like trying to explain to her that you need to rest and not do this and this because you've just had a baby is like talking to a brick wall. She just thinks, oh, I should be doing it because I was doing it before, and it's like, no, you shouldn't be doing it because you've just gone through that, so you have to let your body recover. But she just
I
doesn't.
know,
listen.
but in my own head, it's a bit like, well, I had a baby 11 days ago and I should be able to do that now. So it's like, I don't know, it's hard to explain. Like, I've struggled with it all a little bit. Like, the NICU journey itself, I struggled really, really bad with, like, really bad mentally.
And it's hard to explain because for me, I'll be like, it doesn't matter if it's been 2 weeks, you have to just listen to your body. So when you're ready, you'll feel ready and you'll know that your body is able to do the stuff that you want to do. So every time you go to do something and it hurts or whatever, then that's your body telling you you're not ready to be doing the stuff that you're doing, but she doesn't listen. So
I think though,
she still wants to do
with that,
everything.
like, obviously, I can't lift Harlow at the moment and it's bothering me because I don't want Harlow to feel like, obviously, we've brought this baby home and I don't want him to feel like, oh, mum doesn't want to change me, mum doesn't want to pick me up. Like, he doesn't understand what's going on. Like, he knows we've brought this baby home and he absolutely adores her, but sometimes there's a little bit of a jealous streak in him where I'm trying to teach him what kind hands mean because he just wants to love her all the time and just...
He's a bit...
But he's a bit...
I wouldn't even say he's heavy-handed because when he goes near her, he's really slow. But sometimes he doesn't realise maybe like the weight of his arm or maybe the weight of his head, so he'll like be dead soft going in and put his face to her. But then sometimes he'll be like, he'll want to like just almost like kind of lie with her, but lean on her. And it's
been
like
the odd time where there's a slight streak of jealousy that's come from him and he's gone to throw something at her, or he'll stand there with it behind him ready to just chuck it and you have to kind of grab it before he gets it. Like, it's just...
So we don't leave him around her. Do you know what I mean? We're always with her, so it's kind of like just making sure that they're both safe.
Like yesterday,
because he is the devil.
I had her and he just kept standing there pointing at him saying, and then pointing at Dad as if to say, give her to him, and then he came to me, and I think it was more, I want a bit of mum.
Yeah, he likes to pick and choose, so like, depending on who's got the baby, depends on who he wants to go to, but then after one of us has put baby down or swapped over, he'll then get to that person because he'll want the attention. Almost like, oh, mum's loving the baby, okay, and then I'll have the baby and be like, well, now mum has to love me, so then he makes sure he has to go and lie with you and get his cuddles.
Yeah. It's just about finding the balance, I think. Obviously, I'm new to this whole... I'm not new to being a mum. Obviously, I've been a mum for nearly 14 years, but there's a huge age difference. K-Dot will be 14 in January, and then we had Harlow, which there was a 13-year age gap, and it was like, whoa. But obviously, I'm now a mum of 3, but I'm now also a mum to 2 under 2, and I'm just a bit like...
It's not that. It's not just us. Harlow's obviously got to adapt. He's gone from being the baby to having a baby.
Yeah.
Obviously, the ages are so close together, so he's kind of settling and knowing nothing's going to change with him and just getting used to a baby being there as well. But back again. So we do keep pausing the video, so I do apologise. It's just either the dogs are up to something or Harlow's up to something, or we are actually recording through tickers, and obviously you only get 10 minutes, so we have to pause it and start another one.
So carrying on, recovery, obviously, I'm practically, I say practically recovered.
I'd say you
Give or take,
90%.
No more breast engorgement. Honestly, it was the worst. Like, I had it bad with Harlow, but I had it even worse with this one. Like, there was everything I was trying. Like, I was freezing breast pads, I was using the cabbage leaves from the day after birth, and my milk just was coming in but wouldn't release, and I was like, oh my God.
I can confirm they're okay now.
Shut up.
They are that she's able to have them touched.
Shut up. Breast engorgement has gone down. I did not enjoy having to try and sleep sitting up for, I think it was like 6 days. It was so uncomfortable and it was painful. The infection part that I thought I had seems to have disappeared. Bleeding's practically non-existent, which I found odd, and it's been like that since, like, I think I only had like 3 days after birth where it was like just like a mild period, and I said to the midwife, is this normal? Shouldn't I be losing a lot more blood? And she was like, no, everybody's body's different after, so that's practically done.
I would say for me, going off how you've been, 90% there, and I'd say the 10% is just when it comes to lifting, like you say. When you've tried to lift Harlow, you've been like, and she can't do it. So that, I would say, is the last 10%, just where...
Just got to gain like my core strength back in my stomach. Harlow, don't do that.
The devil is just
you will end up having it on your head or something. But I am back this size. I don't even look like I've had a baby. It's absolutely ridiculous. Like, I've been left with hardly any, what would you call it?
Bump. Just like...
Baby fat.
You've sucked back in straight after birth, basically.
I'm back to this, and I think I was practically back to this the day after. But the swelling and stuff has all gone down, and...
We're just waiting on the swelling on her head to go back down, and then...
This hair is doing my head in.
The swelling is gone now.
Why is it doing that?
But
I'm looking forward to the postpartum hair loss, not.
So, this video I'm splitting into 3. First part is baby. Second part is mom's, how she's doing. But the third part I want to talk about is how is mom doing up here. Because obviously with... in regards of like mental health wise, and in regards of maybe like the anxiety side, and how is mom feeling?
So obviously, if you're not new followers, you will know that I already have my own issues mentally, and I am trying to figure out in my own head when the best time is to start back on my medication for that. But at the moment, I feel like I want to, but I'm not physically fully where I need to be yet to be able to
put your body through that as well.
It's not so much put my body through it, but it's that particular medication spaces me out, and I'm still trying to adjust to having a newborn. And I'm going to be completely honest, I'm struggling a little bit with it. With not her, because she's absolutely amazing, look, she's no problem whatsoever, but I'm struggling with... I feel drained, like really, really drained, which I'm not 100% shocked, because the whole pregnancy I was on the go 24/7, like it was just non-stop. But that was also for my own sake. It wasn't just a case of, oh, I'm a mum, it's my job, I've got to do these things. I'm a wife, I need to be a wife as well. It was also mentally for me, because being pregnant and not being on my medication was something I had to adjust to.
You did smash it though.
Yeah.
You did really well with it.
Obviously, when I found out I was pregnant, obviously I stopped taking any of my medication, because I didn't want to risk our baby being born with any kind of birth defect. And although I stopped all my medication and everything else, I stopped the Red Bull, everything was stopped, she was still born with a birth defect. So it was a bit like, well, I found my own coping mechanism.
With Talipes, nothing causes it, it just happens.
Yeah.
Unless you've got family members who are born with it, then it can run in the family. But other than that, everybody we spoke to, medical-wise, all said the same, it just happens.
So mental health isn't a new thing to me, and after Harlow was born...
You struggled with that, didn't you, after Harlow?
Struggled isn't even the word. Like, I completely lost who I was. And I'm going to be completely honest about it. After Harlow was born, I got hit with really bad postpartum depression. Like, really, really bad. And it changed me as a person. Like, it just... it took over my whole life. It just... everything about me changed.
So this time round, it's kind of like trying to... You've gone through it, see the signs, and try and act on stuff. So it's a bit like taking lessons from the first time round and trying to manoeuvre the best way you can this time round. So health-wise, like, everything is
when I say like it changed me as a person, like it affected every avenue of my life. Like I almost walked away from everything in my whole life, and it was bad, wasn't it? Like it tested a lot, and I have to take blame in stuff where I was the problem, because I was the problem, but it at the same time wasn't completely my fault, because I didn't see what was happening to myself until long after it And that's when it started to then fold into the BPD episodes and the splitting episodes. And I was going through a situation where it was like, I was splitting for like 5 days straight. And there was no break. There was no little, I don't know what you'd call it.
You was more in it than out of it.
Yeah.
But this time round, you're doing a lot better.
I want this time to be different. I want to be able to see the signs, and I feel like I'm handling it better so far. I mean, it is early days, don't get me wrong, but it's a positive.
And it's learning for me as well, like obviously seeing how it affected her last time, and then now we've kind of gone through it, it's kind of like trying to do everything I can to make it, I say better, but like kind of seeing the signs last time, and now kind of, if you see them signs this time, kind of addressing it and trying to help the best way you can.
Like, I will be honest.
And talking more,
Yeah.
so like talking, if she's struggling with something, like this time she'll be more vocal with something, so like then it kind of lets me know what's going on to kind of try and,
As before, it was
depending on what
kind
it
of
is,
like,
help with it.
I don't know how to explain it. One thing I can say is my husband has been amazing this time. Like, I'll be honest, he wasn't the best after Harlow, like, and he knows that. Like, it's almost like I was drowning in front of him and he couldn't see it. But I also wasn't helping the situation because I wasn't expressing it. I was kind of just like
She was doing it
keeping it to myself, doing it on my own.
Yeah, she was trying to do it on her own with Harlow and things she was struggling with, and not actually putting it across for me to understand what was going on, so I couldn't really do much because I didn't really understand it and I didn't really understand what was happening.
But this time he's been absolutely amazing, like all throughout the birth and after the birth, and just he's literally done everything for me. And like,
I just think last time was almost like a bit of a trial run, and then this time was make sure everything's
like
banged
this
up.
was something I was worried about when I found out we were pregnant, and I was like, I don't want to go through that again. Like, I can't. Like, it nearly ruined me. But this time, I think I'm handling it a lot better. There's been times where, through the NICU journey, like, I might have been a bit quiet in the car or something on the way home. And if he asked if I was alright, instead of me doing what I would normally do and say, yeah, I'm fine, and just kind of brushing it off, I kind of just let it out.
Obviously, if I'm asking for a reason. I'm not just randomly asking a question just on the off chance, you know what I mean? I'm asking because something's up, so tell me.
So this time I have actually spoken on how I'm feeling and where I'm at and what I'm struggling with, and I'm letting him know.
Hello,
What's the matter? You just chucked it.
So yeah, this time round it's more like taking lessons from the last one and making sure everything's bang on
We
this
did
time.
say though, didn't we? Like, we said it. We want it to be different this time. Like, there's been so many conversations between us during the pregnancy and whatever.
That's what's helped to make this time better, because we spoke
Yeah.
about a lot of things on what we wanted and from each other, and to make it better and
I
make
feel
it
like
enjoyable
this
and
time-
perfect. Like,
I feel like after Harlow, we were against each other and we weren't a team. It was
we were just butting heads a lot on a lot of stuff.
him versus me instead of me and him versus the problem. And that's what it was like for quite a while after Harlow, wasn't it? Like, it was like it for months.
Yeah, but I just think it's part of growth. It's part of learning. It was our first child together, and parenting wise, it can be different. Whereas now we're on the same page. And
But this time, I
it's
do
just a
feel
team,
like we've been a team, and we've been what each other has needed. Although it's been hard on me, and, you know, I found the NICU journey hard. It wasn't just my journey; it was also his journey. So it was being what we needed for each other during the process, instead of it being.
I will touch on that though. Like, no hate towards anybody or anything like that, but I do feel like if there's two parents together, all of the messages are always, how's mum? And you never ever, like, don't get me wrong, we've got a decent sized following on TikTok of, like, say 62k, something like that, but there's never the comments, how is dad? How's dad dealing with blah blah blah?
Yeah.
It's all like, and I'm only touching on it because it's the same with mental health. it's always, you always hear like women talking and women's side, and it's the same thing where you see everyone post about like men's suicide and men's mental health, how it doesn't get spoke about. I know this isn't the same, but it still can come under mental health if the male if the male isn't dealing with the journey very well. Again, it's proven just through our comments alone in our videos. It's always same with this video now. It's mom and baby, but you never see the comments asking about dad.
Like me myself, throughout the whole journey, I've asked him personally how he's doing, and he doesn't.
Don't get me wrong, I'm fine. I don't.
No, but like
I haven't struggled with it.
Yeah, he hasn't struggled
but I'm
with
just
it.
saying,
but
like,
at the end of the day,
the comments are always mom and baby.
Like we've been what we needed for each other this time, and as much as he was there for me, I always made sure I was checking in with him as well. It wasn't just a "Are you okay?" wife, whatever, blah blah blah. But I was also checking in with him daily to see how he was and.
To be
How
fair,
are you feeling mentally? Are you struggling with anything? Is there anything you need to talk about?
I am quite lucky in a lot of things where it's like I don't really struggle. Like if
You
there's
did,
a problem,
after Harlow.
But the only thing really though that's been massive was my nan.
Yeah. Although the situation between me and you after Harlow was one you struggled with.
But I mean, like in terms of everything else in life in general, like.
Be back in a minute.
So, Harlow is just currently smashing the lamp off the floor and then crying about it.
Not even just took the lamp on the floor; he's ticked the whole thing off.
So bear with.
Unit.
So
Go itchy nose.
back after.
I also did.
It.
I know people don't. I know people like to treat the mums after birth. But I felt like he needed a little thank you for everything. He's my husband, yes. He's the father of my children, yes. But credit where credit's due. And when I tell you I wouldn't have got through the whole process without him, I'm not joking. Like, he has been by my side the whole time, so I did treat him to a couple of things. Just... He said I don't need anything though. I don't need thanking. Like, I'm your husband. It's my job. No, but appreciation is where it's at. I'm just letting you know I'm thankful for what you've done, and I do appreciate you and I do love you, because as much as us women need to hear that we're loved and we're appreciated and all this, so do the men.
But as a round the video, like rounding it off, that's the 3 topics I wanted to touch on.
Although I do want to just touch on this.
Go on, you first.
I will admit, and I did have this conversation with my husband this morning.
She wanted the Hector.
No. No. I do feel like maybe a bit of the baby blues is starting to set in. And I just kind of recognised it a little bit this morning when I got up with how I was feeling. And I was already awake and I was downstairs when he'd woke up and he come down and he's like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "I'm just cleaning." I'm
but that's secretly, like, in your head it was going, bleach.
Do you know what? I didn't even use any bleach today yet. I haven't even bleached anything yet today. Like, when I've got stuff going on in my mind, cleaning is the only thing that helps me. Like, it's my escape from anything that's clouding my judgment and clouding my mind, because I don't have to think about that. I'm focusing what I'm doing. Like, if I'm doing something, my focus is there. So that's how I've coped the whole pregnancy. And I said I wanted to continue that way of coping after, because it really did make a difference, didn't it? Like, during the pregnancy, like, it could have gone the opposite way, and I could have come off my medication and I could have been an absolute train wreck, like, which is what I was expecting. I'm not gonna lie, I was expecting me to be that person, but I found my own ways of coping, and that's what I'd like to continue doing now. But I did have a conversation with him this morning, and I did say I think I am struggling a little bit. Like, I just feel drained, like, just... So I might not have heard my first alarm, and obviously NICU nurses have advised us, make sure you set your alarms for when the baby's feeds are due. and I was 20 minutes late for this alarm, and when I tell you it, I sobbed. Like, I was like, she's now 20 minutes late for this feed because of me. But I'm so drained. Like, I spent the whole pregnancy barely sleeping, and then I gave birth, and then it was back and forth.
At the end of the day, you're only human, and the baby was asleep anyway. She's being fed every time on time. 20 minutes and she's still asleep. It's not the end of the world.
I don't know. I can see the signs to a degree. They're not that bad.
You should be so hard on yourself.
Like, the signs are not that bad at the moment, but I have recognised them, and recognising them is a start, and it's better that I recognise it as early as I can, so I can do whatever it is that I need to do in regards to trying manage it and trying to prevent it from going to a serious stage. So I'm glad I've kind of picked up on it now as it's starting to happen, then if I just leave it and pretend it's not happening, because if it's going to happen, it's going to happen, and there's no point ignoring the situation. It's just going to get worse. If I just brush it under the carpet like it's not going on, isn't going to get me anywhere. But other than that, as a whole, I'm doing alright, and that's all I can tell you. I'm doing okay. I'm doing the best that I can at the moment, and I guess that's all that is expected of me.
So, as I was saying, rounding it up, I'm fine and I'm doing okay. You're fine.
Although I do look like shit.
And you're doing okay. You're 90%
yeah.
out of 100 on both.
Although you do have to agree, I do need a bit of a full MOT going on here, because No.
I need a service.
I need a service, but not that kind of service one.
The kids are doing okay, and Harley, like we said, will be meeting at the weekend. The next two videos, I don't know which one will come first, that you'll see on here. We'll do a video of Harley meeting Hallie for the first time, and probably some clips how the day goes. And the other video that will be pending will be, we're going to put photos of her feet for the Talipes journey, and we'll let you know where we're at with that and when that's going to begin and the process. We'll go into depth on that one. So they'll be the next two videos that you'll see come up on here. There will be little shorts that I just put up. It might be one of us, both of us, the kids, little things like that. They'll go up on the shorts, and then at some point there might be some cleaning shorts get put up on here.
I am slowly starting to get back into the cleaning. I'm not doing as much as I was doing before, but I'm doing what I can.
And to end off this video, I just want to say a big thank you to everybody who's come over from TikTok and subscribed. And I want to ask anyone who's still coming over from TikTok to watch the videos, thank you, but can you hit the subscribe button, because every subscriber helps. Obviously I've done it before and I probably still do it now. There's people that I'll watch on YouTube and I haven't even subscribed to it. I'll just end up searching and watching a video, and then I'll go off.
What are you doing?
I won't end up hitting the subscribe. I'm terrible for it. But big shout out to everybody who's following, everybody commenting, liking, sending all the nice messages and comments. Like, we see them, we appreciate it. Big up anyone who sent anything off the wish list on tickers. Any of the YouTube people that have followed us through YouTube and haven't got us on the socials, big shout out to you as well. You can only catch us on TikTok, and on here the TikTok is Mr. and Mrs. GT and Mr. and Mrs. W, our house to home, which is the smaller account. They're the only two pages you'll catch us on.
I've had a lot of comments asking what our Insta and stuff is. We're not on it.
We don't do anything else.
We're not on it.
But I just want to say
not
a big thank you
Facebook,
to everyone.
not on Insta, so you'll just catch us on here and TikTok.
And if you do send anything off the wish list, please, please, please leave a note and a message. One, because you'll have seen the book that I keep. And two, we've had one that come today and it hasn't got a name or anything or a message.
Whoever that was, I love you.
Yeah, we had a crate of Red Bull sent, but we don't know who to thank because there's no name. So I've done a video on TikTok asking if anyone sees it and it's you, drop a comment. But I'll also say it on here, if it is you and you're watching through YouTube, please drop a comment and big up yourself, because we appreciate anything. So yeah, look out for the next videos.